everyone, Stephanie Calhoun here with the next in the series of video blogs, and coming to you to answer your questions that you sent in on yoga, Ayurveda, meditation, and life. So today's question comes to us from my friend Tammy, who has a question to do with women's health, in particular in regards to practicing yoga during a woman's cycle, so during that approximate week of actual menstruation. So her question was around the fact that during her teacher training that she took in the past, she was told that you shouldn't do inverted postures during one's cycle. However, not a lot of information was given around why not, and then what to do as an alternative. So my response to you today is not only for all you women, but for men as well, because we're all governed by the sun and the moon. We're all governed by this and all influenced by the elements in nature. So whether you're a man or a woman, you will notice fluctuations in how your energy is ebbing and flowing, how your mood is, how the body is processing and eliminating in various ways. So, but in particular to women's health, our reference is in terms with the reproductive system and the process of our monthly cycle or menstrual cycle. So my answer is coming to you from a combination of Ayurveda, Yin Yoga, and restorative yoga. So the reason why we're instructed not to do inverted postures during the process of menstruation, where tissue is being eliminated from the body, particularly it's moving down and out. So in yoga and Ayurveda, we view there being these, we'll say there are 5 forces. It's really one force with 5 different patterns of movement that it takes. And this force is the force of Vata. And Vata in relation to English is wind. So the winds of the body, there are 5 directional forces of wind in terms of how do they move. For example, when we inhale, that's an inhaling or Apana Vayu, it's called force of wind. When we exhale, meaning up and outward movement versus down and in, the up and outward movement of an exhalation is Udana Vayu, or the upward and outward moving force of Vata. So during the process of menstruation, the force that is at play is called Apana Vayu. Apana Vayu means down and outward moving wind. When this is taking place, it's critical that we don't interfere. It is believed in Ayurvedic medicine, and I have heard Western medical doctors agree with this in an Ayurvedic setting during a lecture format, that it's believed that 90% or more of all diseases come from a dysfunctional Apana Vayu, meaning whatever it is, whether it be urine, feces, menstrual blood, whatever that might be, this process of down and out. So our eliminatory ability is hampering our health. In other words, we're not getting waste out of the body very efficiently. This creates a toxicity in the body, or a backup of tissue in the body that is waste, that is not needed to be there. And it creates a toxicity that we need to keep working on moving out of the body efficiently. So our practices, when this is at play, should be focusing on the effects of Apana Vayu, the down and out movement. So if it's moving down and out, and this is moving in relation to gravity as well, when we go upside down, we've now taken the directional force in the body that naturally wants to move down and out. We've taken our legs in the air, even if it's a restful pose like legs up the wall, we've now taken the gravitational force against Apana Vayu, and Apana Vayu has to work harder because now it's pushing up against gravity. If this system is already weakened, if this force is already weakened, and the body is trying to do a very, very critically important function, we're applying a stress to it that is not only unnecessary, but potentially dangerous in terms of creating an unstable or unbalanced level of health. Ayurveda's perfect definition of health includes, among other things, that we be eliminating well, okay? Not just what we're taking in and digesting and processing, assimilating, but then also what are we eliminating? Are we getting out? So this is critically important. Also, during the woman's menstrual cycle, this is not the time to be working hard. The body is already working incredibly hard. These forces are at play, doing an incredibly wondrous job in the reproductive system. So when this is happening, it's not advised that we be taking on really vigorous practices, effortful practices, or what in yin perspective we would call yang activity. So it's a time for more yin, more yielding, in particular more restoration, more rest. So during those various days of your cycle, however long or short that may be, you may already experience things like fatigue, lethargy, not quite as much get up and go as you would have in a few days after or a few days prior to that. So follow that. Heed the body's wisdom that it's giving you. Take the time to rest. Now, in that effort of taking rest, I'm going to make 2 suggestions for you. I could give you multiple suggestions, but this is what I'm going to offer today. One, where we need to be cultivating more yin energy, you could take your practice into, instead of maybe a vigorous movement vinyasa practice or running or cycling or whatever that may be, maybe tone it down. Take the practice to the floor. Get to the ground where Apana Vayu is trying to get, down and into the earth, closer to earth element. Without the effort required to keep the body moving and mobile, in a yin practice, it is a time of yielding. Now, what's key about the yin practice is, what are we targeting? I want you to target the liver channel. The liver channel, the myofascial meridian line in the body, in the lower half of the body, is in the legs, in the inner thigh region of the legs. This is important because liver function in Ayurveda is known to be responsible for the movement of blood. Not only the movement of the blood, but the purification of the blood through the body. The liver is the janitor of the body that purifies all of our systems, gets all the blood cleared out, and then allows us to eliminate that waste that we don't need and keep clean blood moving through the body. So we want to help support the janitor of the body. So we're going to suggest for you a yin yoga posture that is going to work or stress in a positive way the movement of chi or vital life force through the liver channel to help facilitate that natural process of elimination of menstrual blood during our cycle. Now, it will be yielding. There is no effort involved in this. We come into the form, we take that position, we relax into it, become muscularly passive, and hold it for maybe 2, 3, up to 4 minutes, let's say, depending on your own comfort level. There's no ideal alignment for this, so this is approximately what we're doing. I'm suggesting dragonfly pose because of the form we'll be taking next in restorative. So dragonfly pose, we take the legs out long into a V shape. Now, if you have concerns with the backs of your legs, you may want to prop something underneath your knee to give it some bend, so there's some slackening there. Also be mindful of your lower backs. So if the lower back's a tender point for you, you may want to be sitting yourself up on a cushion or a thick blanket. So when we take dragonfly pose, we simply have the legs into a V. How wide is up to you. And then we fold the body forward until you find the point where you feel what we call tension. A sensation of stretch that's taking place anywhere from the center of the pelvis down through the inner line of the leg towards the ankle bone. So when you feel some stress happening, and I use stress in a positive way, some gentle, acceptable stress happening, we then allow the body to relax, letting the spine round. Invite the head to relax down if it will, and simply remain here for a few minutes, 2, 3, or 4. When that's complete, press into the ground and roll yourself up nice and slowly. Give a little bit of movement to anything that might be a little tender, neck and shoulders, folding the legs in, maybe give them a little bit of a rocking side to side. Then we're going to take it into a restorative pose. Restorative yoga is really what is advised in this very special, important time in a woman's cycle. In restorative yoga, the body is allowed to then restore itself to its best state of balance. It gives us energy rather than robbing energy from us. And this will allow, because of the nature of these forms I'm going to show you, it will allow the natural Apana Vayu force to work with ease, with very little effort. So the first we're going to do is a reclined bound angle, or what I call a supported butterfly form. So I have these 2 3-minute eggs, they're called. They're a form of a yoga block. You can use regular books from your home. So I'm also using regular home items, since I know most of you probably don't have yoga gear in your house. So I've just taken a couple of pillows from my bed, I have a simple hand towel that I've rolled up to make a neck roll. 2 blocks where you could stack a couple of books or little throw pillows from your sofa. And I'm sitting myself on my mat directly in front of the pillows. Notice I have them staggered. They're not exactly one above the other. I'm creating sort of a gradient of an elevation to rest against. And I'm going to bend my knees, not in as close as I can possibly get them, but a comfortable distance, comfortable for my hips. And then allow my knees to fall out to the sides. I want them to be supported, so I'm going to tuck these little blocks into the outside, so I'm not feeling a big stretch on the inside of my leg. Again, I'm going for the response to this inner line of the leg here. And then I'm going to slowly recline myself back. And as I do, I'm readjusting my legs to make sure my hips are comfortable. And then I'll place my neck roll behind the neck so the curvature of the neck is supported. And then if you'd like, if you're somehow chilly on this warm day, you could take a blanket for extra grounding and place this across the abdomen and pelvis to support a grounding effect in this area. If you're bloated and sensitive, you may not want this pressure, so you could simply remove that. So here, in this particular form, you could stay for 5 to 20 minutes, just making sure that you feel fully supported, so there's no stress anywhere. In yin yoga, we want to feel that tension force, the stretch happening. In restorative yoga, we want to feel no stress at all in the body. Though I describe it as feeling as though you're being held up by clouds. So there's no tension. The body is simply allowed to relax and rest and restore and replenish itself. So after several minutes here, you can very slowly start to fold the legs in with a little bit of help. Remove your neck roll. And then just roll yourself to one side and make your way very slowly up. And you may prefer to stay on your side for a couple of minutes. Make sure you feel like your blood pressure is normal and you're feeling not lightheaded. So both the yin form I showed you as well as the restorative form are emphasizing these inner channels of the legs. Again, getting to the liver channel, the supporter and mover of the blood in the body, and both promoting yin quality, meaning yielding, restoring, steadiness, stillness. We're not active, we're not putting energy out, we're actually replenishing and building energy reserves back up. So I hope this has been useful. Take some time during your cycle to take a gentle yin approach as well as a beautiful, nourishing, restorative approach, and avoid during those days the temptation to be going upside down into something like headstand, handstand, even downward dog and legs up the wall are definitely inversions. And when we're going upside down, remember you're creating more effort and more required work for the force of Apana Vayu that is already working really hard. So let's give it some support. Let's stay in restorative, replenishing postures for that time, build up our energy, and see if you notice maybe decreases in your symptoms during your cycle if you experience those. So thanks for your questions. Please feel free to submit another one. Please feel free to share this. Comment below if you have a question you'd like to add. And yeah, subscribe to my big YouTube channel if you like. And check out my website, www.enlightenedsatori.com, where you can check the blog page and see all of my blogs from the past and everything to come in the future. Have a great day, everyone. Namaste.